Hello and welcome. In this session, we will go through synchronized timesheet approvals. As a line manager, I have the functionality to approve or decline my employees' timesheets. I go to Synchronize on the left-hand side. Once I click, I go to Timesheets and I go to Approval. Once I click on the approval, I'll have some action buttons and details on the right-hand side. The first two are Save and Submit. These two buttons are available for my employees and for myself as well. We will talk this in a few seconds. Then I have the two buttons which are specifically for line managers or managers to approve timesheets. The first one is to approve and the second one is to reject timesheet. If I have made any changes and I would like to cancel it, I can press on the cancel. Right now this button is disabled because I have not made any changes. The timesheet that I'm looking at right now is in a weekly view. This means I can edit the timesheet and I can view it or approve it in a weekly view. However, if I have a pay cycle which is fortnightly or monthly or semi-monthly, I can simply click on pay cycle view, which shows me the entire timesheet for that specific pay cycle. Then I can make changes or approve that entire pay cycle at once. We'll go through that later. Let's come back to the two first buttons, Save and Submit. These buttons are available. As a line manager, you can save and submit hours on behalf of your employees. If your employee is on leave, or if they're running late, or for any other reason you would like to fill and submit the timesheet on behalf of your employees, you can do so by pressing these two buttons. These hours will be logged and saved and submitted and auto-trailed against whoever submitted or saved them. The next thing we'll see on the screen is the list of employees who currently report to me. There are currently 3 employees, Gareth, Peter and Adam, who report to me. I've got navigation buttons to go to next week or previous week, or pick any time on the right hand side to go to any time of the month. The multiple button here shows you the employees in a list view. We can quickly check that by clicking multiple. You can see the view changes. It shows the names of all employees at once. It shows the names of your employees, as you can see, Gareth, Peter and Adam. Their positions. Right now this is just test data. The hours that they've submitted. The days, you can see all of the days are mentioned here. If you bring your mouse over, it shows you what's the status and also how many hours they've applied for. On the right hand side, I've got action buttons. I can view the timesheet for that person in details, which is the weekly view. I can approve it here or I can reject it. The same thing applies to each of these employees. This view is very helpful if you would like to approve your employees in one hit. You can do so by clicking each one of them individually, or you can select this to approve or reject each one of these timesheets. Before we look at this view further, let's go ahead and look at the individual timesheets. I go back and I click on individual. This brings me back to the view that I had before. In this view, I can see a timesheet date for which the employee has submitted their timesheet. The name of the employee, Gareth Barry. I've got the days of the week that they've submitted timesheets for and the type of hours that they've submitted. The color blue shows me that these hours are submitted and the rest of them haven't been filled, as I can see on the data as well. There's no data for those days. I can approve or reject this timesheet in 2 different ways. I can approve the whole week, I can reject the whole week, or I can approve or reject just the selected days. In this example, I can see that only 3 days have been submitted. So I'm going to go ahead and submit just the 3 days. So I'm going to go ahead and approve just those 3 days. I can do so by bringing my mouse over this checkbox button. I click on that, that takes Monday, then I go to Tuesday, I click on that, Then I click on Wednesday. Once I've done that, I will go to approve. I have two options. If I select approve all, this will approve the whole week. But because the employee hasn't submitted the whole week's timesheet, I'm going to go ahead and click approved selected. This will approve the 3 days that I have ticked in my timesheet. Let me demonstrate that for you. As I click that button, it gives me a prompt to make sure that I'm sure to go ahead. I click OK in this case. As you can see on the screen, the color for these three columns, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, have now changed to green. That means they're approved. If they're rejected, they will change to red. Let me reject today's hours. Because the employee has worked from 8 o'clock up to 6 o'clock. There's 10 hours logged, which is for the morning shift. I want to make some change and I want to leave a comment for this employee. I'd like to mention to them that these hours were incorrectly submitted. To do so, I click on this one, only, just for Wednesday. I go to reject and I go reject selected. It asks me if I'm sure to reject this and I go OK. To reject a timesheet, it also asks you for a comment or a reason that you're rejecting the timesheet. Which I mentioned before, I will nicely mention that the employee has worked less than 10 hours. Again, this is a text that you can type for your employees and I click OK. Now you can see the color for this has changed to red. This day's timesheet has been rejected. I can see the comment that I've submitted here. If I click on this button on the right hand side, this will show me the message that I've left for the employee. The employee can go ahead and make the change and they can submit a timesheet again. As a line manager, I can change the hours myself as well. If I actually come to the start and end time, I have the option to change that, and then I can click on save and submit on behalf of the employee. However, for the sake of this demonstration, I've allowed the employee to go back and change it. Let's talk about PayCycle View. In PayCycle View, you have the ability to view the timesheets in a full PayCycle manner. So if you have a fortnightly PayCycle or monthly or semi-monthly, this view will show you the whole PayCycle at once, not just week by week. So I go ahead and I click this button. This is a slight different view to give me a snapshot of all the times that I have received from this employee. You can see the date on the left hand side. The next column is the job that they've done or the type of hours that they've done. The end time is mentioned here and the out time. As you can see, as I'm bringing my mouse over this time that we saw before, 5:30 in the morning to 11:30. The total hours, the checked hours, the break that they've taken, and the comments will appear here as well. If I'd like to approve this whole period, I can click on this button here. At this stage, this is not available just because I don't have any more submitted hours for this pay cycle. I'll now go ahead and close this. This ends the session for how to approve and reject the timesheet. If you have access to approve or reject hours of the timesheets for employees, you can do so using this screen. Thank you very much.